Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99 podcast, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel. I've got Slothy with me here today. Slothy, how are you doing?
Oh, doing pretty well. It's finally starting to get a little bit cooler out, so I'm in a great mood. How are you doing?
Oh, the same. I was just, as you know, sleeping. Normally we record really, really early in the morning, and I went right back to bed, so my stumbled speech is because of that right now, not because I've suddenly got a drinking problem. It's been a pretty good week. The weather is finally starting to come back. I'm really excited for fall this year. I just think it'll be a nice time.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially with how it's been recently. It'll be nice to have a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it's weather. Just been hot. I think I've got like lots of fun like plans for Halloween and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be. I always like Halloween and stuff. I don't know if you still do stuff for it, but
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think it's something I'll never outgrow. Kind of like with Magic. Yeah, you know, you like what you like. I think it's always a fun time.
Yeah, I think my fiance and I were going to go to a Steel Panther concert, kind of like Halloween party thing, and we're going to dress up as Pyramid Head and one of the Silent Hill nurses.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
Steel Panther always puts on a good show. Good music too, entertaining.
Yeah, I've missed them the last 2 times they've been in town, so I don't want to do that a third time.
Yeah, no, and especially like close to being able to do like a costume party, that would be a really, really good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did that with Gwar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but music aside, Gwar is great in costume, by the way. So, again, more Dominaria spoilers have been coming out. I found one that I was just in love with, and I've changed the episode we're going to do like 4 times this week during spoilers because there's so many ones. Jensen Cartholian is one of the ones I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And at some point we will do that one because I have a really silly list for it. But then they came out with the new Jodah. And I got nothing but love for this new Jodah card. First off, it's really, really cool. Both artworks look really great of it. I really like the stained glass one the most of it.
Yeah, these stained glass ones they're beautiful. I don't think I've seen one that I dislike yet.
Yeah, I really like what they did with these legendaries in Dominaria. There's a bunch, probably the most I've built in a long time. And I was just telling you before the show started that I've already made these decks. Like I think I have 4 or 5 that are just waiting for a physical commander right now.
Yeah.
Because of that, and this is one of them. So Jodah's pretty interesting and pretty fun to play. First off, I love WUBRG commanders. I think they're just a great time. I have a solution for how you can play WUBRG commanders that is great with a Rule Zero talk. We'll get into it very, very early into it because we're going to do lands for once. We don't usually. But Jodah the Unifier is a very interesting card. It is obviously WUBRG for a 5/5. It's legendary creatures you control get +X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. That's already great. That's an ability that's going to scale phenomenally. Like everything, Jodah's basically himself an anthem for. He's an anthem for it, but it's legendary creatures you control get XX, where X is the number of creatures you control, not other creatures. So Jodah himself is always a 6/6.
Yeah.
Right? Which is pretty awesome. And then he has a secondary ability. So whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You can cast it without paying its mana cost, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. We have legendary Roulette, and it's so silly. First and foremost, this can hit any legendary permanent. So this can be built planeswalkers, legendary artifacts, and stuff like that. I just personally think that when building this, that you go down the legendary creatures route because all the creatures are going to anthem themselves when they're on the board, anthem Jodah. So you've got so many legendary creatures that can just be enormous because every time you cast one, you essentially go get another.
Yeah.
Right? I've done a few playtest games that I haven't played it in a live one, but it seems like a phenomenal deck. I'm going to quickly go through my lands because there's a few that are important. I really, really like the pathways.
Yeah.
I think that they're just really good land fixing. I have... The deck's not as budget as we've been doing lately, but you could cut down a bunch of it. The World Tree in a 5-color deck is a must-have. That's like something you have to fetch. It enters tapped. You tap it to add 1 green, and as long as you have 6 or more lands you control have tap to add 1 mana of any color, which is phenomenal. Then it also has a WUBRG ability on it. Double white, double blue, double black, double red, double green. You sacrifice the world tree, you search your library for any number of god cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So that's like one of the most important lands in the deck. And then the other thing that I do is rather than shuffle dual lands around and rather than like make my friends play like a budget comparison game, I've really gotten into using like the snow lands as just basic dual lands. So they enter like normal, they're a snow land, but they enter not tapped. And you can use one set of dual lands, either real duals or these like snow duals. And I'm totally fine with that. I think it like makes the deck better. Talk to your play group about it because really like dual lands, pretty much everyone's just going to proxy them anyways. If they have like they either own them from long ago or or they're proxying them. No one is buying these cards right now, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be wasting the money on them.
No, it's kind of, you can spend hundreds of dollars on a dual land, or you can spend, so just taking one of the lands from your list, 59 cents on an Alpine Meadow, and $1 for a Sharpie, and there you go.
Well, and that's what I mean, right? Like these are, I truly believe that, like I said, you only get to do one. You can't do both. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to have snow duels and real duels. No, you get one. And generally speaking, I think most playgroups are going to be fine with it because
absolutely,
who wants to play against someone's budget? I've said it many times in a bunch of episodes. Some people don't like that idea, but those people want to win because they've spent more money, and that's
Yeah, I don't think it's overly fair for the younger players who weren't around during 1993 and didn't have a crap ton of dual lands.
Well, and I like I said,
be stunted because of that.
I'm phenomenally proxy friendly and stuff. We've got Abyss Proxy Shop is someone who works with the channel lots. There's lots of great Magic in the Beard, Cabal Coffees. They do lots of cool stuff like that. I'm very pro people just playing the game. I just like to play Magic. Yeah,
absolutely.
So again, this would be my budget version, but that's only because I haven't stuffed it with my dual lands. And boohoo, I'm not going to. Like, if anyone, again, if your playgroup doesn't like it and stuff, there's nothing wrong with saying you don't like something in a Rule Zero conversation. But if you don't like it, really ask yourself, like, why? Like, why should I only play a volcanic island if it costs $1,200 instead of $1.29 like a volatile fjord?
Exactly.
It's just like do you want to see me have to have spent that money to deserve it? If it's broken enough, then shouldn't it be banned? I could rant for a while, but that's my go ahead. Sorry.
One more point before you move on. Honestly, the dual lands, personally, I don't think they're even good enough to warrant spending. I don't think any card's good enough to warrant spending $1,200 on.
They're great. They make a 5-color deck function and stuff. But a 5-color deck isn't worth functioning if it's the price of your car.
Exactly.
Like, again, I build lots of decks with dual lands because I have lots of old dual lands. I am not out here buying these dual lands. Do not think that every time I build a deck, I'm spending $2,000 on a mana base. I'm not. I'm switching them back and forth or like taking apart deck. But I have a lot of old dual lands I've played for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should proxy things if you can afford it. That's cool. If for your personal collection you want it, that's cool. I personally just think that people should play the game. So many people won't go into a 5-color deck because they're just like kept out of the thing by the land base. So with that being said, the deck is around $600 with this version. With real dual lands, it'd probably be around $4,000 or $5,000. Don't do that. I'm gonna just jump right into this list because the segments are pretty small for most of it. We have one instant in the deck, and that's all we need. It's Crop Rotation. It's 1 green mana, search your library as an additional cost, sack it. You search your library for a land, you put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Every time you play this deck, that land is going to be World Tree. Everything you can land search for in this deck, you want the World Tree more than any other land because it will fix your problems.
Yeah, definitely.
World Tree will fix your marriage. We've got, jump into the sorceries here.
Sure. So you got 8 sorceries. The first one is Collective Voyage. It's a single green. It's got Join Forces. So starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player searches his or her library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the total number of mana paid this way, put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffles their library.
I love cards like this.
Yeah.
I like things that just get the game going, and we're trying to be kind of more annoying than normal, and I don't say that lightly. Because we're trying to double up our legendaries, right? Like, we're getting 2-for-1 casts. Free casts kind of bring people down. So giving everyone a little bit of land is nice. We have Cultivate, which I have said many times I put in every green deck I can. It's 2 and a green. You search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Reveal them. 1 to the battlefield tapped. 1 to your hand. Again, just great color fixing, and we are in 5 color. We need to color fix. We've got a fairly budget land base. Even with my dual land workaround in it, I'm not running any fetch lands to get them. This is we've got to just do what we can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Then next up, we've got Kamal's Druidic Vow, X double green for a legendary sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with mana value X or less from them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your graveyard.
Yeah, this is a great card in this deck.
Great card. I love this card.
The majority of this deck is legendary. So
yeah.
You're really, really gonna get through it. The next card I like because I like to threaten everyone at the table, and I think it's a fun way to do that. It's Land Grant. It's 1 in the green. If you have no lands in your hand, you can reveal your hand instead of paying Land Grant's mana cost. You search your library for a forest card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle. This will go and get you one of your duels and stuff like that if you need to. Budget duels, shock, whatever. But I just really like to just threaten the table by showing everyone my hand. I just think it's fun. And if I can ramp and do that at the same time, I'm usually down for it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that card before, actually.
Yeah, not many people play it. I love it. It's a phenomenal land ramp card. I love free spells. And I've had people say more than once, oh yeah, well, it's only free if you're holding it up. And I'm like, okay, but I would be holding up that extra land because I can only play a land a turn. So once I'm out of lands, I just freely go get another land.
Yeah, no reason why you wouldn't.
Right? Pretty great card.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of pretty great cards.
Next one is Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, 5 white-black for a legendary sorcery. And return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's
really going to matter if we get board wiped.
Yeah, and looking through this, there's going to be a lot of things that people will want to get rid of.
Almost certainly. Board wipes and like I said, we're not really running protection. I don't believe in the stuff. I just like to be all aggression all the time. You probably should cut this list down and include some instants. Probably should put in some Swiftfoot boots or something. I don't even think I put those in here. But this is how I like to play. I like to play with pure gasoline.
And I was looking through this actually, and I was noticing how differently we build because
real different. Yeah, you got a lot of answers. I got a lot of creatures.
Yeah, that's
you can't single target remove everything I'm playing.
No.
So we've got Sylvan Scrying next. It's 1 in the green. You search library for a land card again. It's gonna be World Tree. Then shuffle your library. There's other lands in the deck. I'm sure they matter, but World Tree really, really matters, especially because I'm just gonna skip over. I'll wait till we're there. World Tree's great though.
Sure.
I'm gonna talk the next one too because I've said it again. My playstyle is threatening the table, right? You gotta politics good, and I put Tempt with Discovery in this deck because I love to do that. It's 3 and a green, tempting offer, search the library for a land card, put on the battlefield. Each opponent can search his or her library for a land, put on the battlefield for each opponent who searches this way. You can search for another land, put on the battlefield tapped, or put on the battlefield how it comes in. Each player who searches shuffles. I'm gonna politics by telling everyone I'm going to get World Tree anyways. It's already coming out. That's just it. I'll get basics if you want me to after that. I don't care because being able to get World Tree and 3 basics, it's really going to work for us, but I just like to threaten the table with, like, I'm already getting what I want. All you're doing is hurting yourselves.
Yeah.
So generally, I'm pretty good at making people take the offer, and I'm pretty good at politics in my way around it, but I do find that if you at least tell them what you're going to get, like, I understand that you can go get Cabal Coffers and Urborg, and then you can tap for, just don't play like that in every game. It's pretty easy. I don't play like that in so many games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm telling you straight out from the bottom of my heart, going to get this world tree, and it's going to be in play.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm doing. It's just a simple world tree.
Yeah. It's just simple world tree. It's nothing too big.
Yeah. Sadly, the world tree is not legendary, so I can't fetch it with any of my fetch legendary cards.
Yeah.
Very annoying.
Kind of strange that it's not legendary, but...
It should be, yeah.
Speaking of, next card is Urza's Ruinous Blast. 4 and a white for legendary sorcery. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. This deck, I just counted, has like 10 non-land permanents that aren't legendary.
We are not really affected by that.
Yeah, not at all. Like, you'll lose nothing compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I've got, so I have, the whole deck is about the free casts, and a Wooburg free cast deck would be nothing without Maelstrom Nexus. So our enchantment section, we have 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green. And it's the first spell you cast each turn has Cascade. And our commander's basically giving us that. So now every time I'm casting, like if I cast a 5-cost legendary creature, I'm going to be able to go get 1 that's lesser value from Jodah, 1 that's lesser value from Maelstrom Nexus Revealing. And I really like the roulette aspect of rolling random cards like that, because then you can kind of be like, oh, I didn't cast it. It just came out. But we want as much free casting as we can get, because, I don't know, it's a fun theme. It's for anyone who's listened for a long time. I built the Atla Palani deck, and the Dinosaur Roulette was like just a play style that I loved for so long. I love chaos decks.
Yeah. And
Cascade is nothing but chaos. I wish Jodah specifically said Cascade for legendary, because then Averna would have been phenomenal on the list, but it doesn't. It says reveal, and it's not the same. It should have been.
It's the same, but with different words.
Averna would have just been a monster in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then we have one more enchantment.
Yeah. Next one, Sunbirds Invocation. 5 and a red. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from among cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah, so again, just more free cast that we're gonna love. More random roulette.
Mm.
Again, these sections we're going through are probably the ones you could cut down. You don't need them, but I like them. We've only got, and that's the other thing, you're only taking like $3 out of the deck anyways that way. We've got 2 planeswalkers in the deck, basically for similar reasons. The first is Garrick Unleashed. We've got 2 double green, 4 loyalty starting Garrick. Its +1 is up to 1 target creature gains 3/3, gets 3/3 and gains trample until end of turn. That's just already a pretty good ability, but when all of your creatures are antheming each other, it's very easy for Jodah. He's already going to be a 6/6 when he hits the board, a 6/6 at 5 mana. So even with only no other creatures out, you're making your commander a 9/9 trampler.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty. It has a lot that it can do. Then you have a -2. It's create a 3/3 green beast token. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick, so you can really get this going fast. But the emblem is what we specifically want. It's what we want for both planeswalkers. We're going to have a lot of creatures out, generally speaking, to work around and protect them. But it's -7 as you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. You can search your library for a creature, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. We are creature-centric in this deck. A quick spoiler, and anyone who's looking at the deck list with us, there's 41 creatures in the deck. That's really, really going to help.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to have quite the toolbox to go through. We've got Wooburg. We have access to everything we would want to put into this deck. This is the first deck in a long time that I've had to cut down. My initial list and pile that I made for this was 150 cards big.
Jeez.
Yeah. Let me make the 100 cards a minimum rule. What are we talking about? Yeah, and then I'll let you take this next one here.
So this next one is Tamio Field Researcher, 1 and Bant for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker Tamio. +1, you can choose up to 2 target creatures until your next turn. Whenever either of those creatures deals combat damage, you draw a card. -2, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. And the number 7, like you mentioned before, is the one that you're really going to want. Draw 3 cards and you get an emblem with, you may cast non-land cards from your hand without paying their mana cost.
Yeah.
Is that 4 mana Omniscience?
It is a 4 mana Omniscience if you get it off. And that really, really is going to help.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun card.
Yeah, you gotta keep her around for 4 turns, and
Well, and you can get a lot of draw off, right? Because it doesn't have to be creatures you control.
Yeah.
If you have if you have an aggro player out or someone who's attacking you with something, I'll take 3 or 4 damage, no problem, to draw a card.
Yeah.
Right? Another easy way to politics, like, hey, yeah, you can hit me, but I just want to draw, so I'll put this on this. Just hit me so I can draw and we're all good, but don't hit Tamio and I won't kill your creature kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I really like this Tamio, actually.
Yeah, I actually love it too. Those segments are pretty small. We've only got 12 artifacts, and then, like I said, we're all creatures from that point forward. So our first one is Chromatic Lantern. Obviously, we're in 5 colors. Yeah, the secret 6th color. No, we're in 5 colors. It's 3 mana. It's lands you control have tapped to add 1 mana of any color, and you tap it to add 1 mana of any color. It's acceleration. It color fixes us. It's almost necessity in a deck like this.
Yeah, this phenomenal card.
Yeah, the next one's in for the same reason, but also because you can really mega cascade it with that 7 cost.
Yeah. So this next one is Chromatic Orary, 7 mana legendary artifact. You may spend mana as or mana of any color, which also helps with fixing. Tap it to add 5 colorless, and you can tap 5 and tap it to draw a card for each color among permanents you control.
Yeah, so generally speaking, no one really uses that last ability. This is most commonly seen, I think, right now in Sisay decks.
Yes, absolutely.
But
because I think this
go ahead.
tapping that alone gets the Sisay ability off.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's basically just another Jagannatha in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But your commander out means that you have a 5-for-5 draw, which is so good.
Yeah, that's a really good rate.
Yeah, it's a really, really good rate. Like, especially if you're holding it up, people have been refilling your hand at 5 mana is just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chromatic Orary is going to be something we definitely want out as soon as possible. We're going to get a lot of use from it. Color fixing is just great in the deck, but that draw card with our commander's ability is really, really going to put in work.
Absolutely.
We also have Expedition Map, a 1 mana artifact that has 2 and a tap. You sack it, search your library for World Tree, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. You could search for any land, but obviously, again, we want World Tree. After World Tree, you can use these things to go and get basic mountains. I don't care. You want World Tree in play.
Yeah.
You'll like the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. This is another one I don't know if I've seen. It's Hero's Podium, a 5 mana legendary artifact. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1 for each legendary creature you control. So it's legendary coat of arms.
Yeah.
You pay X and tap it to look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library in random order. I really like that.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. It really, really goes well with our commander.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one is each other, so it's not as good as our commander because they won't pump themselves. But like you said, coat of arms for legendaries for us is going to really work.
Yeah, definitely. And for 35 cents, that's...
Yeah. Speaking of fun budget cards, this is $1.40. It's Honor Worn Shaku. 3 mana. It is an artifact that taps for 1 colorless, and you can tap an untapped legendary permanent you control, untap Honor Worn Shaku. It's really, really nice to be able to turn your summoning sick creatures into mana, or just into, if you want to do an enormous Kamal's Druidic Vow. This is something that really is gonna let you do it. You can tap down all of your, say you've got 10 creatures out, you can tap down all 10 creatures to pay that X so that you can go 10 deep, and all your lands and legendaries, you're pretty likely to hit some things in this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Honor Worn Shaku is a card that really, really does a lot of work in decks like this, and in Planeswalker themed decks.
Absolutely, yeah. The next up, we've got Instrument of the Bards, a single green, for another legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards, and 3 in green, and tap it. Search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on Instrument of the Bards. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and if that card is legendary, create a treasure token, then shuffle. So, search your library for a creature, get a treasure token, shuffle.
Yeah, it definitely does some work for us. The longer the game gets, the better it is. Like, it's not going to chain them to the field, but...
No, this one's going to take a little bit to get going unless there's some proliferate stuff, but once it gets going.
Yeah. We also have Legacy Weapon, another 7 mana artifact. Huge cost in this deck. But we've got, it's 7 mana. You can pay Wooburg, which we are already trying to get. and you remove target permanent from the game. That is very rough to deal with because that can hit lands. You could, in theory, legacy weapon my world tree, which I have specifically stated I am very likely to try and get.
Yeah.
So, legacy weapon is rough. You can, if you rush to Wooburg, you can ruin someone's colors. Like, if they're in a tricolor deck, you can just, like, start removing their, like, swamps from the game. Yeah. Well, or their swamps from the game so they don't have the color.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you can play like a monster. Or, like I said, you can get rid of anything. Most things in the game don't have protection from artifacts.
Yeah.
So anything that's going to be, like, protection from white or protection from creatures, Legacy Weapon is going to get around it and really put in a lot of work. And I love the artwork of Legacy Weapon with Squeeze Toy in the bottom corner because I love Squeeze, a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then also, Legacy Weapon, if it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Great card.
Huh?
I just say it's a great card.
Yeah, it does a lot. Like, it really, really does a lot of cool work.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, this next one is one of my favorite cards of all time. Lithoform Engine, 4 mana for legendary artifact. 2 and tap it, copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. 3 and tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Or 4 and tap, copy target permanent spell you control. The copy becomes a token.
Yeah.
Wonderful card.
There's a few creatures in here that's really good for at the bottom, the copy target permanent spell.
Mm-hmm.
But just 2 mana to get another activation from our commander is a lot. We've got lots of good ramps, so even 3 mana to double up on our ramp isn't really going to hurt us a lot of times.
No, not at all.
And again, it's going to get our legendary stuff out. The reason that we want World Tree so much is for this fun little ditty right here. It's Maskwood Nexus. It's 4 mana. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. It has 3 and a tap. You create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling, which is every creature type. But, as I mentioned, Wooburg ability on the World Tree is the double Wooburg. You sack it, search your library for any number of god cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle.
It's going to get everything out of your library.
We have 41, pretty much almost all of them are legendary creatures. That's gonna be a problem if we resolve that combo. That is gonna be something, even if we only have access to half the cards in our deck, like let's say we only get 20 of them, you're going to get 20 legendary creatures hitting the board with +20/+20 from that ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a real issue.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, it's going to immediately wreck the game for everyone. They're not going to like it, but it's going to be really fun. The fact that it can just make shapeshifters and stuff is great as well.
Yeah.
But this is in specifically for that World Tree. We need to fix our mana, so we already are incentivized to run World Tree, and we've got a 4 mana fetch every card in our deck.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a worthwhile combo, including, in my opinion, it's very fun.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Soul Ring. We all know it. We all love it. 1 mana, tap it, add 2.
Yeah, I'll let you take the next one, too, because I think you'll enjoy what it does.
Yeah. So this next one is the Circle of Loyalty, 4 double white for legendary artifact. Costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. 3 and a white, and tap it, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
The second one from Jodah is also cast, so if this is in play, every time you cast a legendary creature, you're going to get 2
tokens.
Yeah, two soldiers or 2 white knights, 4 power for just casting your things, and then also a mana sink to do it. I really like the Circle of Loyalty. It's a cool card. We're not a knight themed deck, but we're also just trying to cast things for free.
And and also if you've got your Maskwood Nexus out.
Oh yeah, that's true. Then everything is a knight as well. And then the next one that we've got is just always going to do great work in a deck like this. We've got Thran Temporal Gateway. It's 4 mana, another legendary artifact, so it can be rouletted into, and it will trigger our roulette. 4 mana, you tap it, and you can put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic, so we can cheat out a lot of our bigger cost things with this. This isn't going to hurt us to hit on the battlefield. this is going to put, I would say, the majority of our deck into play because artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic, and things that aren't that, we only have 9, 10, 11 cards in the deck. Everything else is legendary or artifact.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it does a lot of really, really cool stuff. I really like the functionality of a lot of like what this stuff is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get into why I've made the deck. And it's because I just like to play silly cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to start with the first one because I've just been loving using this card. Every deck that I can put it in right now, I kind of am doing that. It's Alrund God of the Cosmos. It's a legendary god 1/1. It's 3 and double blue. Alrund gets 1/1 for each card in your hand and each foretold card you own in exile. At the beginning of your end step, you choose a card type, then reveal the top 2 cards of your library, put all cards of the chosen type into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. We are probably going to pick creatures because we have 41 creatures.
Yeah.
So just that ability is great. Alrund can become huge. Generally speaking, you want him in a draw deck, but we have a deck that's already pumping our legendary creatures to insane heights. So it's not that, but Alrund has a flip side, and it's a great early game card. It's Haka Whispering Raven. It's 1 in a blue for a flying 2/3 bird. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand, then scry 2. So you'll still be able to get it out to Alrund whenever you need it, but just that early flying 2/3 at 2 mana that scries you 2 is really going to help you fix your like land base. You're not losing the card a lot of the times with the flip cards. The other side, you're kind of stuck. You're married to that side.
Yeah, this one has. I really like that it does return.
Yeah.
Itself. Next up we've got Arkanis the Omnipotent. 3 triple blue for a 3/4 legendary wizard. You can tap it to draw 3 cards, which is in itself an amazing ability. 2 double blue, return it to its owner's hand.
Yeah. Arkanis is, just the tap and draw 3 is wicked.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's not conditional either.
Yeah. I definitely like that one. We've got Bloom Tender. It's come down a ton in price lately, which has been great. It's 1 in the green. For each color among permanents you control, you add 1 mana of that color. That's really, really going to help us. We're again in 5 color. With our commander out, we've got something tapping for 5 mana at a 2 cost. It's going to be awesome. Early game, it's going to tap for at least a green. It's going to put in work for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we've got Braid's Conjure Adept. 2 double blue for a legendary human wizard, 2/2. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land from their hand onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
Some nice group hug stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Fun old group hug. Another great way to cheat in things that we like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this deck is very high costed, so having as many free cast stuff is going to put in a lot of work.
Yeah, free roulette's fun. We have Captain Sisay because you almost have to in a Legends Matter deck. It's 2, 1 green, 1 white for I think it's human soldier legend. I can't remember its actual type. It just says legend. It's 2/2, search your library for a legend or legendary card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is really going to just tutor us the majority of our deck.
And yes, it is a human soldier.
It is a human soldier, okay.
It is a human soldier. Next up, we've got Damia, Sage of Stone, a 4/4 legendary Gorgon wizard for 4 and Sultai. Got Death Touch, skip your draw step, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have fewer than 7 cards in your hands, draw cards equal to the difference. Sorry.
Yeah, refilling our hand is going to be awesome. Like I said, the fact that so many of these things are going to hit the board so big, because the likelihood, we only have a few cards. We've got Thran Temporal Gateway, Circle of Loyalty, Lithoform Engine, Legacy Weapon, Heroes Podium, Chromatic Orary, and 2 Planeswalkers. So I think we only have like 6 or 7 things that won't be a creature on the roulette at most.
Mm-hmm.
So most of these are going to be hitting with a minimum of +3/+3. They're going to have Jodah themselves and their cards. So when we're looking at some of these high cost things, yes, they're high cost, but let's go to the next card, for instance, right? We have Dromer the Banisher. 3, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black. Dromer is a dragon legend, a flying 6/6. So with our commander roulette shenanigans that we're playing, we're dropping a 9/9 flyer at 6 mana.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's also going to get us any creature 5 or less that comes up to the top, which is also going to get +3. So we're gonna let's even say that it's a 1/1 creature that we hit on the next. We're getting 13 power onto the board on a 6 mana cast, right? Like this, it really can't be understated how problematic Jodah's like coat of arms-esque ability is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then especially if you pair that with what was the other one that you had?
Oh, the Hero's Podium.
Hero's Podium, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Where everything's going to be hitting at +2.
Yeah, that's going to get out of hand really, really quickly.
Yeah. Dromer has another wicked ability, which is I hate Cyclonic Rift, but I do like this ability. So whenever Dromer deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 2 and a blue. If you do, choose a color, return all creatures of that color to their owner's hand. So it's a nice way to clear the field of annoying stuff, token armies. You will hit your commander because your commander's every color, obviously, but that's fine.
I mean, you could even use this to bounce back. I don't think you don't have one in this deck, but to bounce back Dockside, recast it.
Oh yeah.
It's just that ability has got so much utility to it.
Yeah, I like the bounce, and it's not to the player you dealt combat damage to. You just have to hit anyone, and who's been in a game where you can't hit one player with a flyer? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this next card is another one of my favorites. 5 double white for a 4/7 legendary praetor. It is Elesh Norn Grand Cenobite. Vigilance, creatures or other creatures you control get +2/+2, and creatures your opponents control get -2/-2.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
but you've got to remember that Elesh Norn is going to be hitting as a 7/10.
Yeah.
As a 7/10, that's giving again in that same math of we hit only a 1/1 creature. We're gonna be at 13 power at 7 mana and a -2/-2. It really Jodah's ability is annoying, and it's really cool to build around. But Elesh Norn is a great card for any Legends Matter deck. It's high cost, but it puts in the work. Anyone who's seen it hit the field knows exactly what it does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The next card, I'm not a bad person. Keep that in mind. I'm not.
If you have to preface a card with that,
I'm not a bad person, but I'm playing Legendary Roulette, and I'm buffing legendary creatures, and therefore, I'm playing Empress Galena. We've got 3 double blue for I think it's a Merfolk Legend. Again, another just old legend card. It is a 1/3 with the silly little group hug ability to pay 2 blue, tap it, and gain control of target legend or legendary permanent. This effect does not end. It's just indefinite control, and we're taking their commanders.
Yeah. And this card is a Merfolk Noble.
Merfolk Noble.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, Empress Galena is something that generally will really annoy the table. You can use it to like rip away people's like very important lands from them.
Yeah.
You can take people's Avacons. That's hilarious. But generally speaking, you're going to take their commanders with Empress Galena, and then their commanders are going to be part of your monster legendary horde, which is going to annoy your table. But you're going to have fun, and the whole point of this is legendary chaos. That's probably what I'm going to call the episode, is legendary chaos. Because you're just trying to ruin.
I like how you said that you're not a bad person. Then you're talking about like degeneracy of taking people's commanders from them.
That's
taking their lands from them.
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes you've got to do that. Empress Galena keeps your play group in check. Rule them with fear.
Yeah, fair. Better to be feared than loved, I guess.
Yeah, the next card is great on both sides, and one of my favorite artworks in Magic.
Yeah.
Please, you take this one, yeah.
Sure. So this one is Esika, God of the Tree. 1 double green for a legendary creature god with vigilance. That's a 1/4. You can tap it for 1 mana of any color. And other legendary creatures you control have vigilance and tap for 1 mana of any color. And it's also got a flip side.
Before we do that, that's awesome. Yeah. The fact that you turn like all of your legendary creatures into Birds of Paradise is wicked.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Can't be overstated how great that is. But the next side, yeah.
And the next side is the Prismatic Bridge. This one costs Wooburg for legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card. put that card onto the battlefield and the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. Which side do you find yourself playing more in this deck?
So
because both are so good in this one.
Yeah, it all depends. Like early game, you're gonna want to seek out. Not like number one, it's gonna have the ramp. It's gonna turn every other legendary creature you have out into ramp. It's gonna be great for that. And then late game, it just adds like once you have WUBRG, I think you're gonna want to like once you have the ability to reliably make all your colors, the ramp you need as much goes out of the window, because the fact that you can just every turn go to your next creature in your more roulette fashion. Like I said, we're not very far down into the creatures, and there's already like some like real monsters to hit the table, right? Damia, where we're drawing every turn. Even Braids hitting the table on one of those is a problem. Like Braids, Arkanis, like the refill abilities, Dromer, so we can bounce things. We've got Elesh Norn in that list. We have a perma threat of Empress Galena. Yeah, it's very rough, right? So like just there's a lot of stuff in this deck that you can roulette to that is just going to be a massive problem for the table, and you've got so many things in it that just trigger, and it's just fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a chaos deck wouldn't be a chaos deck as well without a Tali Primal Storm. We've got 4 double red for a legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur, which again is dropping as a 9/9.
Yeah.
When a Tali Primal Storm attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells among those cards without paying their mana cost. Any legendary creature I'm hitting is coming to my board.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm searching for in your decks.
Yeah, then you can double that up too with Lithoform Engine and...
Oh yeah. Yeah, Atali's pretty great. Like I said, we've got a lot of stuff that we really want to free cast. Like we've got a few 7 mana artifacts. We've got Elesh Norn 7 mana. We've got some big costs, right? So anything that we can do to get them out is just a good time.
Speaking of a good time,
this next one is just fun because again, like I keep saying, my math of what these things are, this will hit the table as a 5/5.
It is the greatest legendary creature of all time. It's not even debatable. It's a 2/2 for a single white Isamaru, Hound of Konda.
Yeah,
it's vanilla.
Let loose the hound.
Yeah,
it's
great.
It's problem.
Great card.
It's a fun one to be able to get out. We've also got Asperia, Supreme Judge, a card that I've really enjoyed using a lot lately. 2 white, 2 blue for a 6/4 Sphinx, legendary. It has flying. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you may draw a card. So you're going to be able to refill your hand a lot in this deck. Like there is a ton of draw. There probably should almost be a Reliquary Tower in the deck, but I don't know. I feel like we're mostly focused on just ramping to that WUBRG and then just getting off as many free casts as we possibly can.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got another one of my favorite cards. Jagannatha the Wellspring, 4 hybrid Gruul for a 5/5 legendary elemental elk. That's got companion, no card in your starting deck, has more than one of the same mana symbol as mana cost. That doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can tap it to add WUBRG, and this mana can't be spent to pay generic cost.
Yeah. We don't want it to pay generic cost. We want it to legacy weapon people right in the mouth.
Yeah.
The legacy weapon as well, like there will be like some lore stuff coming up on it because we've got to do the lore with Dominaria. I just got to find time with John to do it. But just being able to trigger that legacy weapon, being able to you're able to hit your commander off it is really good. That color is so easy to get to, either 1 green or red / 4 colorless. Jagannatha is really, really easy to get out and really easy to like color fix with. Yeah,
even if you get you just need the World Tree.
Yeah.
For this because it taps for green.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that any green source, which is generally you're gonna want a green source.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Joira, Weatherlight Captain. Again, you can't run a 5-color Legends Matter deck without Joira, Weatherlight Captain, right? It's 2, 1 blue, 1 red, Human Artificer, legendary, 3/3. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. Again, you're casting with Jodah's ability, so every creature cast, you're playing Legend Roulette. You're not even looking for legendary creatures at this point. You're going to be able to draw 2 cards off each cast. That's really, really going to add up fast.
This
don't
next
judge
one
me. Don't judge me. I heard it. I heard it in your voice.
This next one also makes me wonder why you don't have a
friends.
Well, I knew I've been on here since January. I know the answer to that one.
Sometimes you got to get this one out.
Yeah, this one. Jagannatha Core Augur, 8 double blue for a 5/4 legendary creature praetor with flash. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7.
Yeah, this is one you want a Thran Temporal Gateway in. But if you don't, it is going to hit pretty much everything in the deck. I don't think there's anything that is higher costed than this. I didn't go the Eldrazi route. They were in the initial cut.
They were in the initial 150.
Animar was also in the initial cut as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would have made everything like so. Every time you cast a creature, Animar gets 1/1. So all your creatures, every time you cast, like from the first creature you cast, will be -2. Like it'd be a lot.
Yeah.
This next one is a finisher in the deck, which is if you hit this with Kamal's Druidic Vow or you cascade into this, it's essentially the game is done. Because as I've mentioned, with just Jodah out and your double roulette, your creatures will hit the board +3/+3. So we go to Kamal, Heart of Krosa. 6 double green for a 5/5. It's hitting the board as an 8/8. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get 3/3 and trample until end of turn. You're
11,
hitting
11.
Yeah, an 11/11 trampler. Yuck, first off, and then it can also, for 1 of the green until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature token with vigilance, haste, and indestructible. It's still a land. So you can really, really swing out. Like if you've got a lot of mana, and there's some cards in the deck that will really, really have a lot of mana. We'll get to them. You can also just bring your lands with you. Like you can, as important as I say the World Tree is, you can bash someone right in the mouth with the World Tree.
Yeah.
Putting some legendary lands into this would be really fun with Kamal, because then you could turn them into that. They would get that powered up buff +3/+3. Like it'd be a fun alternative route to go. I don't have any legendary lands in here. I should, specifically for that reason. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean you could say fun.
Fun for me. Yeah, like I said, the your creatures are going to get out of hand. These legendary creatures are all things that sans Jodah you don't want on the field. They're all very, like, you don't want Jagannatha on the field. It doesn't matter that he's going to be an 8/7. That's not what your complaint is. But when he hits the board as like a 15/14 and he's Jagannatha, like, then what do? You've got some removal and like, okay, well, you can get rid of Jagannatha, or you can get rid of something that's like pumping my creatures +14/+14, right? It's going to make your threat assessment a lot harder, because a lot of these cards, like Jodah is a real problem, and you want to remove Jodah as quick as possible if you can.
Yeah.
But that being said, then you still have left these monster cards on the table. You've still got an Elesh Norn out.
Yeah.
Right?
Mean.
We've got a little bit of group hug coming up.
Next up, we got Kami of the Crescent Moon. Double blue for a 1/3 legendary creature spirit. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card.
Exactly. It's a friendly deck.
Yeah, friendly.
Friendly deck filled with friendly people.
Actually, one thing I meant to ask. You don't have a, because I'm not going to recommend putting Gaia's Cradle in anything, you don't have a Circle of Dreams Druid in here.
I tried to put as many legendary things, but a Gaia's Cradle would almost be better, because I've got things that can fetch legendaries.
Yeah, and then kind of what you were saying with the Kamal.
Yeah, Gaia's Cradle will be a problem. Gaia's Cradle will be a real problem, a real issue. That'd be fun. We've also we've got Karametra, God of Harvests, 3/1 green 1 white for a 6/7 god, which is again dropping down as a 9/10 indestructible if you've got Devotion. And if you don't have Devotion, that doesn't matter. As long as Devotion to green and white is less than 7. Karametra's not a creature, but that's not gonna matter. It's legendary. We can roulette into it very easily. But whenever you cast a creature spell, and we have 41 of them, you can search library for a forest or plains, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. We've got our snow duels kind of thing and stuff, even if we're playing them as real duels, whatever it is. Just the fact that we can go fetch color fix again with Karametra every cast is going to be great. Just being able to hit forests and plains, it's going to be a lot of help, right? We want as much mana as we can get. We have so many ways to go get the World Tree that that Karametra is really going to help us fix our colors.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got Karanos, God of Storms. 3 blue and red for a 6/5 legendary enchantment creature god. Sorry, I 6/5. I meant 9/8. It's got indestructible.
Rough, right?
Yeah, that's.
If you can cast 2 creatures per turn, by the way, let's say that we're just at a point where we have 11 mana. We cast Dromer, we hit another creature. We cast Karanos, we hit another creature. Then these things are coming down +5/+5 minimum.
Yeah.
Gross.
This is why we run interaction, everybody.
Nah,
this
don't do
this
it.
Deck right here.
Don't do it.
If you play against this deck, please do not let Jodah hit the battlefield. Please do not let Thran Temporal Gateway hit the battlefield.
Yeah, Thran Temporal Gateway is a problem.
Stop him as much as you can. But it's got, as long as your devotion to blue and red is less than 7, Karanos is not a creature. Reveal the first card you draw on each of your turns. Whenever you reveal a land card this way, draw a card. Whenever you reveal a non-land card this way, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player.
Lightning bolts and land double draw.
Not bad.
Yeah, right? We have Kethis the Hidden Hand, 1 white, 1 black, 1 green. It's a 3/4 elf advisor. It's pretty good stats. Legendary spells you cast are 1 less, which is really, really going to matter, especially for those like Legacy Weapon, Chromatic Orary. That's really, really going to help us out.
Yeah.
Then it also is exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard is you can play this card from your graveyard. So a really, really easy way to get other things back. You can make the decision to throw some things away, but you can recur some of the things you need.
Yeah, like you can get rid of, as much as I hate to say it, you could get rid of Isamaru and something else.
No, my boy.
I know, that's as much as I hate to say it.
But yeah, but if it lets you put Jinja Taxes back into play, then
yeah,
right.
Might have to take one for the team.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Kolvori, God of Kinship, 2 double green for a 2/4 legendary creature god. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, Kolvori gets +4/+2 and has vigilance. You can pay 1 and a green, tap it to look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. Great ability.
Yeah, we've got nearly nearly 50% chance to do it for every card in the deck. Like we're almost at 50. And like in our top 6, we're almost certainly going to hit 1 creature.
Yeah. Then you could also have the backside of it, which is the Ringheart Crest, 1 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You can tap to add green, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type or a legendary creature spell.
Yeah. So just early game mana rock if we need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say kind of the same thing as with Isika.
Yeah. Right, yeah, exactly. How you play it will depend on where you're at in the game. Again, this can hit the board as a 9/9.
Yeah, it sure can.
Because it's going to count itself, right? As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures. So if you have Jodah and you either roulette into this or this is what you cast, you've got a 9/9/4/4 that is giving you fetch cards from the top of your deck ability. It really like the fact that this would be a 9/9 for 4 mana is problematic. The powers in this deck are huge.
Yeah.
You don't want to play against an Ensnaring Bridge at all.
No.
Yeah, see? We've
I love this next card.
You take it, please.
Sure. So this next one, Quain Iterant Meddler, white and a blue for a 1/3 legendary rabbit wizard. Tap it, each player may draw a card. Each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life.
Yeah.
This is a nice deck. I've changed my mind.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of group hug.
Who cares about Jingy Taxes? We've got Quain.
The deck should also have the Ignoble Hierarch in it, but this one's Noble Hierarch, 1 green. It's got Exalted. Whenever creature control attacks alone, that creature gets 1/1. We're not really going to use that much in this, but we've also got Tap It for banned 1 green, white, or blue, right? Which is going to again fix colors early game. We have a lot of blue cards in the deck, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next one's also really, really important to get out.
There we go. Yeah, the next one is Nylea Keen-Eyed, 3 and a green for legendary enchantment creature god. It is a 5/6 or an 8/9 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, it isn't a creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less, and you can pay 1 and a green. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. Yeah,
lots of great mana dump abilities in this deck, I find as well. Especially on like indestructible sources.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Oketra the True, another indestructible god, 3 and a white for a 3/6, double strike indestructible. Can't attack or block unless you control at least 3 other creatures, which is not going to be too hard for us and stuff, right? Being able to hit a 6/9 with our commander roulette math, by the way, this is just roulette math is what I'm doing for every creature. I'm assuming Jodah's out and everyone's letting me roulette. And if you're not letting me roulette, then I'm attacking you with what does come out.
Yeah.
Until you play ball. But it also has a mana sync ability of 3 and a white. You create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Wrath Capuchin, Ship's Mage, 3/3 legendary human wizard for 2 white and a blue. It's got flash and flying. And you may cast historic spells as though they had flash.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Most of our deck, it's a problem.
Most of your deck you can cast at any time.
Well, and especially if you can trigger Jodah on the cast as well. It's a big problem with a deck like this is it's going to matter so much your own personal flavor and playstyle, because there's going to be so much fun stuff you can stuff into a Legends Matter deck, right? There's
absolutely,
I think there's well over 1,000 legendary creatures or something right now.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, like, you can cut any of these out that you don't like, but I like the direction I went. It's pretty chaotic, like I said, with like super salt cards, Jinja Taxis, to silly cards like Quain. I really like that you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've also got another great early game card and just a fun card in general. We've got Ragavan.
Awesome card.
Yeah, Nimble Pilferer, 1 red mana for a 2/1 legendary monkey pirate. When Ragavan deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library until end of turn. You can cast it. So we're looking for legendary cards in general to add to our legendary army. It's got dash. You can cast it for its dash spell if you do it gains haste and return from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Ragavan's a big chunk of the deck. Like I said, this is a $600 deck. Ragavan's $100.
Yeah, I actually remember I pulled this one at the Modern Horizons 2 pre-release.
That'd be a great pull, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's got 2 of my favorite tribes. If anybody knows me in person, you know I love monkeys.
The good old monkey pirates?
Absolutely. Love monkeys, love pirates.
Ragavan's a silly card for sure. And like I said, you can definitely cut the cost of the deck down by almost a sixth by just putting a basic land in place of Ragavan. So
yeah, and another thing too, with the cost wise, it's listing the commander right now as $60.
Yeah.
So cut out that, cut out the commander.
That's 1/4. Yeah,
version.
1/4 of the deck is.
Yeah.
But we want the $60. We want to flex it.
Yeah.
We have, I think it's Reiki. Yeah. The History of Kamigawa. It's 2 and a green for a 1/2 human shaman. Whenever you play a legendary spell, draw a card. That's going to be great early game.
Definitely. Next up, we've got Safi Eric's Daughter, green and a white for a 2/2 legendary human scout. Sacrifice Safi Eric's Daughter, and when target creature is put into the graveyard this turn, return that card to the battlefield.
Yeah.
And it's got Rule 0 partner with Hans Eriksson.
It should, yeah. You should play it in Hans decks. That's how the deck should be made.
Absolutely.
The next card is a problem for almost every card in the deck. It doesn't matter what you target in the deck with this, it is going to be phenomenally annoying. And that's Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. 3 and a blue. Sakashima of 1,000 Faces enters the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except it has its other abilities. And the legend rule doesn't apply. Number 1, this is going to let us lithoform engine every permanent we put in.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very big problem. Number 2, this hitting my commander is crazy. Because like I said, every time we're rouletting, we're going to be getting +3/+3. Now it's +6/+6, but we have a second roulette. So we're really +8/+8 on every cast. That's a problem. That's something that cannot stay on the board. That's me dropping a 9/9 Isumaru.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
fair
and like I said, even if we're not hitting our commander with it, what do you want, a second Elish Norn out? Are you nuts? Right? Like, it's just, there's so many cards in this deck that are going to be very, very problematic that you don't want Sakashima to be hitting and stuff. You don't want a second Atalio. You don't want, like, a second, like, in any of these cards. You don't want a second Sisei where I can go and fetch double cards. You don't even want 2 Bloom Tenders where I'm going to be able to tap them for 10 mana, 2 Arcanis, I'm drawing 6 cards. Like, you don't want this. You don't. Can you imagine a second Kamal where everything is getting +3/+3 twice?
Yeah, no, there is definitely not a bad target for Sakashima.
Yeah, Sakashima is going to be a monster problem. I think it's a high budget card. It's $30. I really want it to come down. They need to reprint it.
Yeah.
But oh man, if you can get this thing on the field, losing the legend rule so that you don't have to sacrifice and being able to make copies of it like you have the ability to with it. Again, by the way, just keep in mind, you've seen the majority of this list now. Keep in mind what I said earlier about World Tree. Just imagine everything hitting at once and getting +20/+20.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, you don't want a 24/29 Elesh Norn on the battlefield.
No.
Nobody wants that.
I mean, you do, but...
Well, and that's the thing. If Sakushima hits the board with that 20/20 Elesh Norn out, where everything's getting -4/-4, the game's pretty close to done then.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's pretty close to time to go to bed.
Yeah, pretty much scoop it up, start a new one.
Yeah. Please take the next one.
Yeah, so the next one, another Sakashima. Sakashima the Imposter. 2 double blue for a 3/1 legendary human rogue. As Sakashima the Imposter comes into play, you may choose a creature in play. If you do, Sakashima comes into play as a copy of that creature, except its name is still Sakashima the Imposter, it's still legendary, and it gains 2 double blue, return Sakashima the Imposter to its owner's hand at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Again, you also don't want repeat everything I just said, but about this one.
Yeah, so -6/-6 off of Elesh Norn.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't. Could you imagine if you hit both of these in that big, or in the Kamal's Druidic Vow?
Yikes!
Yeah, hit 2 of these and you hit like 3 Atalis that are gonna be like 3/9/9 Atalis. Gross. It's the Sakushimas are really really fun. We've got also I said we had some Rampa coming. Savala Explorer returned, 1 green, 1 white, Elf Scout, 2/4 legendary creature, has Parlay, and I love this card. I put this card in pretty much every deck I can because it ramps so good, and it's just so fun to play. It's each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you add a green and gain a life, then each player draws a card. This is going to be some group hug, but if you hit everything in it, it doesn't cost any mana to activate, so you're getting 4 green, 4 life. That's a problem in this deck when we're trying to cast something like Elesh Norn that I keep saying, like Legacy Weapon. Now we're casting Legacy Weapon with only 3 mana on the board, so even if I have Selvala out, I hit Selvala's ability and everyone hits the top, we have the mana turn 2 or turn 3 to drop Legacy Weapon, to drop Chromatic Orary. You don't want me to drop Chromatic Orary on essentially like turn, let's say that we play, we're just on curve, we turn 1 Soul Ring, turn 2 Selvala. On turn 3, we don't even drop a land, but we drop Chromatic Orary and bring Jodah out turn 3.
Yeah, you don't want to have a player play a 7 mana spell while you're playing your Arcane Signets or your 3 mana rocks.
Yeah, well, and
then have them drop something so explosive.
Yeah, the being able to ramp. I've always loved how aggressively Selvala can ramp out. And like I said, just being able to get something that impactful to the board so early potentially is great. Selvala is one of the strongest ramp cards I think available.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it scales to bigger groups. Most people only play in pods of 4. I sometimes play in like pretty big, like 7 or 8 man pods. So Selvala really, really does work.
Yeah.
Yeah, please take the next one and keep in mind our commander ability with it that I've not shut up about all game.
So this next one is Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. This is the 1 and 2 green Selvala. It's a 2/3 legendary creature, Elf Scout. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card. If its power is greater than each other creature's power, you can pay green and tap it to add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So you're going to be adding a ton of mana.
It just, a nuts amount of mana.
Yeah.
Even again, like I said, with Jodah out, if we have just Jodah on deck, and let's say even Jodah, Ragavan, and Isamaru, Hound of Khanda, we're gonna pay 1 to add 9 of any combination color. Then we're nearly dropping down our Jinja Taxis. Like we're dropping down huge creatures, legacy weapons coming out and giving us the mana to bring it out. Like the color fixing on this Selvala is great, but the power of our creatures is just going to be phenomenally high in this game. Like I've really tried to talk about how big your creatures are going to be, because it can't be understated that like you are playing with monster legends. Like they're going to be so big. Things that aren't going to be that problematic in general. Like it's going to be realistic that you have an 8/8 Safi Eric's daughter out. Yeah, that Reki History of Kamigawa, it's going to be like a 9/10. It's going to really, really wreck your table if you get this up and running.
Yeah. Speaking of, this next one is kind of one that you usually see at the front of 5-color decks, but it's just stupid in this one.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is Sisay Weatherlight Captain. It's 2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary human soldier. With our roulette math, Sisay will get that normal 3, so she'll already be a 5/5, but she's also going to get a 1/1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control. So with Jodah out, she's hitting the board as a 7/7 before before any other Jodah bonus is out. So she's going to be gigantically problematic in this deck. She's going to be huge. And then she has that Wooburg search ability we all know, and it's you pay Wooburg, search your library for a legendary permanent with CMC less than Sisay's power, put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle. The fun thing about this is that because Sisay is going to be so powerful, generally speaking, because it's got to be under her power, generally speaking, in a 5-color deck with Sisay at the helm, you're not able to fetch Chromatic Orary unless you've done some shenanigans to up her. But in this deck, you will be. You'll be able to immediately activate, if you've got the Wooburg, immediately activate and get Chromatic Orary, and then immediately activate and get another legendary permanent out.
Yeah, because like, she's going to enter as a 10/10 at least.
Yeah, like she's going to be a monster. Like, and again, a 10/10 at 3 mana is going to be good late game. It's going to be great early game. That ability to search and fix whatever we need. But there's a lot of cards in this deck that you don't want me to be able to search into play at instant speed. Like, again, you don't want me to get out a Jin-Gitaxias at instant speed.
Which she can do if there's a single other creature on the board other than Jodah when she's cast. You can just automatically search because she'll be an 11/11.
Yeah, you don't want any part of it. Sisay is going to be a massive problem. I think she's very fun in the deck. You could definitely switch her out as an alternate commander. You could also switch out the alternate commander as Asika and do a Prismatic Bridge route. But I just think that Monster Creature's ability from Jodah is much better.
Yeah, definitely.
Much better for this playstyle, at least. But yeah, no, Sisay is going to be a card you really do want to get out because there's going to be, again, you can very quickly get your Thran Temporal Gateways out. You can get your Maskwood Nexus, and then you can get all your God cards out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, Maskwood Nexus isn't legendary. You cannot get your Maskwood Nexus out. I was lying to you. But you can if you believe hard enough.
Just, once again, that's what the Sharpie's for.
Yeah,
just write legendary.
Believe hard enough and lie to your playgroup. Guys, it's legendary. You've got to believe me.
It just doesn't say it.
Yeah. The next one's super problematic in the deck.
Yeah, this next one, Surok Dragonclaw, 2 and Teamer for a 6/6 legendary human warrior with flash. This spell can't be countered. Creature spells you control can't be countered, and other creatures you control have trample.
Yeah.
Surok's insane.
That's
this deck.
A very big problem. Yeah, we're almost all creatures, so the not countered alone is going to be great. But do you want this monstrosity? It's going to hit as a 9/9 with just Jodah and itself is a 9/9. So we're running a 9/9 Trampler at 5 mana. That's going to bring out, again, even at a 1 mana, like a 4/4 Trampler. It's gross. So it's going to put in a lot of work, and we've got a ton of blue to pay for it. Like, it's going to be a real issue.
Yeah.
This next one's also a real issue. It's Tosky, Bearer of Secrets, and I love this little guy. 3 and a green for a 1/1 legendary squirrel, which cannot be countered, indestructible, attacks each combat if able, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to player, draw a card. It's going to do everything we want. Swing out hard. It's going to get very, very big. It's going to survive most board wipes so that we're bringing our creatures back, because that's the thing, right? We've got a lot of indestructible creatures in the deck, so even if we are getting board wiped, as soon as Jodah's re-hitting the battlefield, he's still going to be something like a 10/10 or a 12/12 with how many indestructibles we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the other thing I haven't even been talking about. your commander's also getting this buff. It's not other creatures are getting it. So your commander's also just going to be able to, like, wreck house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Commander damage is definitely going to be a way you can win with this one, too.
Yeah, Jodah, the only thing Jodah's unifying is your hatred of this deck. Like, Jodah's gonna really, really, like, slap the table.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. I'll give you that with this one.
Yeah. Another Praetor. Vorinclex Voice of Hunger. 6 double green for a 7/6 legendary Praetor. With Trample, whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced to your mana pool. And whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, that land doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
You guys have to believe me that I like the people I play with. You have to believe it.
I like having friends, guys.
I do like when people come to play, but this one's a little rough. I'll give you that. Again, we're trying to hit Wooburg, right? But being able to hit Wooburg twice is pretty cool. It's double activations of Legacy Weapon. Again, I am not above stripping people's lands away from the table.
Yeah.
I am a spiteful person. If I know you have a Psych Rift in the deck, expect that to happen. Stop playing it. I hate it. We also have Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Again, I just like to tutor cards. 2 and a green, legendary creature. It's a human rogue 2/3. 2 and a green and a tap. You put a verse counter on Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Search your library for a creature with CMC equal to the number of verse counters on it. Put it on the battlefield and shuffle. There's definitely a good chain of things. I'm pretty sure we have every cost going up it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun one.
Yeah. So the penultimate creature in the deck is Yomiji, who bars the way. 5 double white for a 4/4 legendary spirit. Whenever a legendary permanent other than Yomiji, who bars the way, is put into a graveyard from play, return that card to its owner's hand.
Yeah, it's a problem. You don't want me to get all those cards back. I really should put a Reliquary Tower in the deck. If you're listening to this, the deck should have a Reliquary Tower in it. I'm not going to put it in it because I'm not smart, but...
Another one that I would recommend, too, is Krufix, God of Horizons.
Oh, that'd be a much better one. Yeah, I think that'd be great. A good creature, a good way to store my mana up as well.
Yeah, because that's 3 green and a blue, 4/7 enchantment, legendary god, which will be able to be found through the World Tree as well.
Oh yeah, I should say that the World Tree itself will just pull out a bunch of cards in this deck, even without Maskwood Nexus. You're gonna hit a lot of cards.
Yeah. I think Krufix is definitely one that I would add here.
Yeah, right.
Even before Reliquary Tower.
Yeah, I think that there's that. Like, I think you could, again, if you're cutting the Ragavan, Krufix would be such a good addition. Krufix is not going to be anywhere near as expensive as Ragavan.
Yeah.
That's actually, I might pick Ragavan out because I didn't want to put my Ragavan in this list, but I do like the Mankey.
Yeah.
And then we've got I love this card. It's Yoshimaru Ever Faithful.
Yeah.
1 white mana for a legendary creature dog. And again, this is going to be a very, very problematic card with the way our deck functions. Because it's already going to hit as a 1/1. Jodah's ability is going to pump it. But Yoshimaru is whenever another legendary permanent enters under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on Yoshimaru. It's very easy. Again, if you hit this in that World Tree situation where we get 20 of our creatures, it's going to be a 41/41 huge creature. If we hit Heroes Podium, and it's going to be an 80/80. Hail Yoshimaru.
Yeah. Real question, though. Who's the best boy, Yoshimaru or Isamaru?
I like Isamaru, but Yoshimaru's got it. He's loyal. He's waiting.
Yeah, fair.
Day after. He's so regal. But yeah, this is my deck that is Random Chaos. I can't even remember what I said I was going to name the episode. So, but I like it. I really like this deck. I love chaotic play styles, and this is chaotic. I will give you that.
Yeah. Did you consider just one more that I just thought of? Did you consider the Great Henge for this deck?
I did, but I never buy the Great Henge. Every time I see it, I'm like, I'm not paying $50 for that. I'm not paying. It's kind of like Craterhoof. Every time I see it, I'm like, I'm not paying that, and then it goes up in price. I'm like, man, I should have paid that. Then I see it again, and I'm like, wow, I really shouldn't pay. I'm not paying that.
I've got like 6 of them I can trade you.
Yeah, me with my duels. I'm like, I'm not spending $70 on a card. That really does speak to how much I enjoy like people actually like playing proxies, because I'm not spending $80 on a Great Henge.
No.
No.
Like I've got the I think I have every version of the Great Henge actually.
That's pretty cool.
Like on my desk, I've got the borderless foil one, which is
one of my brothers pulled one in his pre-release kit when we were playing, and then he also like opened one, so he got two.
Yeah.
Like just at a pre-release event, and I don't like him as a person. I never crack anything good. Sealed product is not my friend. I buy a lot of product, but I do not get good stuff.
Yeah, I think I opened that one in a bundle, and it's a $330 card.
Yeah, that's gross. That's a lot. But yeah, no, like I said, like what do you think of this? Obviously, there's some things you could really trim this budget down. I think you could easily get this to around a $300 deck.
Yeah, I think if you cut Ragavan, change a different version of the commander.
My land base is a little expensive in it. Like it's still $100 even with my cheap dual workaround. But it's because I've got the secret layer of the pathways, and I just think they're beautiful. I love the look of the secret layers. So I didn't put them in this way as the secret layers, but they if you don't run the secret layers, like you don't need to run like $30 lands. You could run the filter lands just as easily, or you could definitely change this up. I just personally think that you should use the snow duels as your set of dual lands, or there's another set of just like tap dual lands coming out in Dominaria. I say use the same thing for those. We're all adults. We can all be responsible. You only get to use one set of them that way. Like, so if you want to use like real duels and snow duels, then your snow duels are just snow duels. But if you want to just use snow duels, then use them, in my opinion, as just normal cards, just normal dual lands, and let's play like fun Magic where you're not hampered by like the insane budget of a $4,000 mana base. Let's just be adults and have fun. Like, yes, I understand that if you were to use my rule and play with like 3 sets of dual lands, that would be a problem, but we're not doing that. Especially like it's a budget land base, not like full of like windswept heaths and stuff like that. Like, just grow up. Let's have a fun time playing Magic. Talk till I'm blue in the face about this. Right now, I think I have like 391 decks. I took apart like 70 and then I built even more because I have a problem. I'm not buying dual lands for all those decks. It's just not going to happen.
No, like you definitely shouldn't feel like you have to play against somebody's wallet.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, right? Because like if let's say even in a worst case scenario, you're playing against someone like me who does have it. What's the benefit of limiting yourself from having these, right? Limiting other people means you want to win because you have more money than them. And you know what I mean? Yeah,
it should be you're playing against the person and their piloting abilities.
But if you don't have those dual lands, what's the benefit? Do you want to play something deliberately weaker because you don't want to miss a house payment to buy a volcanic island? No, obviously not, right? Like, it's just like the Magic. I've said it many times. I'll say it again as we're leaving this episode. I think Magic should be for everyone. I think Magic is like a great place for everyone, no matter what walk of life you're in, to come together and have just a really, really good time with your buddies. And having to be priced out of the game, it's an expensive game. There's no way around it. It's an expensive game, and I just like to play the game. I've got so many play groups because I'd like to play the game. I play with lots of different people every week. I work lots, but I still get games in with everyone. I love to just sit down and play Magic, and the more people that can play Magic, like a good Rule Zero conversation, in my opinion, means that everyone's playing at a similar level and like having like as good of a time as they can with Magic. That really is. It's just the Rule Zero should boil down to everyone's having the most fun they can have.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like I said earlier, you shouldn't be punished for being born later than 1995.
True. But
because
the other thing I was going to say with it and stuff, I do agree that you shouldn't be punished because you didn't play Magic 30 years ago, almost. Right? Yeah. But like on top of that and stuff, like, yes, the Rule Zero conversation is to make sure everyone's like playing, but it does also affect the higher budget player. Like, if you guys all don't have like duels, then what do? Do I just say like, oh yeah, like I consider this deck like a 5 or 6, and then I'm like, I'm sitting there dropping, like I'm playing Slivers, it's just a tribal deck, but it has dual lands in it. Do I just like not play my decks that are fun because my budget's too high? Everyone should just have a good time, right? And I do think that removing that land barrier is the easiest way to get more players to try more things, to have more efficient mana bases. I don't care that it says tapped. The rules committee should just say, hey, even if they wanted to just not do you can only have one set, just all of the tap duels. Anything that is tapped with basic land types, remove tap from it in Commander, as long as you've got 2 or more opponents. Just have a good time. What's written on the card doesn't matter. We've seen them errata. Look at what's on any of the companion cards. That's not what the rule is, so why can't we change the rule?
Yeah, and it's a casual format, so...
Yeah. I will rant about this until I'm dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
That everyone should play 5-color decks, because pretty much no one I know plays 5-color decks. It's like, I think only one person in any of my play groups plays one that isn't like one of my brothers who also has the same like kind of collection I do. And that's a Niv Mizzet one.
I've had 2 5-color decks before.
Yeah.
Nope, 3. Nope, 4. There you go. So I had Golos.
Rest in peace, my old friend.
Rest in peace. I've had Kenrith.
Yeah, Kenrith's great.
Sisay and First Sliver.
Yeah.
Actually, I say First Sliver, but I've really had like all of the...
Yeah, every one of the slivers. Every time they make a new sliver, you're like, this is now this deck.
Yeah, I think the only sliver that I don't have for that is Sliver Queen. But every other one, like Hive Lord, Legion, all that.
Yeah. Well, and like I was saying, right? For me, I'm not affected by anyone being like, I don't like your rule. That I'll just be like, okay, give me 4 seconds and I'll go to a sliver deck. I'll unsleeve some duels, put them in these sleeves, and be like, there you go. Here's my. I'm not the one hurt by this. Like, I just like to play Magic. I think everyone should like to play Magic.
Yeah.
I like my Chaos deck. I've been ranting for far too long about my thoughts on this. Thanks everyone so much for getting to the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Wrong button. All right, there we go. Again, thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. If you like our content, check us out on our website, www.intothe99.com. We're very active on Discord and on Instagram. I really neglect the other social sites, but if you ever want to talk Magic with us, come over to Instagram, send me a message, tell me if you think I'm wrong about using the snow duels this way. I'll gladly talk to anyone about it, because I think that's how they should be used. Now, if you've got strong opinions on them, let me know if you like chaotic decks like this, and if you've got like good suggestions, like Slothy said with the crew fix, like how could you fix this deck to be even more chaotic, more fun? I love playing decks like this where you roulette cards. So tell me if you'd play something like this. Let me know what you would have put into it and what you'd take out. Obviously, I think, looking at my own list now, maybe Ragavan isn't the best of options in it.
Hey, Monkey Pirate's always the best option.
It's a great card, but maybe even as an ignoble hierarch, it could really speed the deck up a little. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for getting to the end of the episode. Again, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to hearing from everyone